Alright mates, how's everyone doing and welcome to another videos. We have just hit 500 subscribers, so thanks a lot to everyone that subscribed. Thanks for checking back in, watching the videos, and if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting on? Hit that button and, get in with the content. So with that being said, let's jump into 5 more tips that you need to know. We've already done 5 tips, so this is going to be episode 2. Hopefully there's something in here that you don't know and it's new to you. Especially if you're a new player. And if you want to see the video of the 5 tips from before, I'll put that in the card above if I can get it working, and you just click that and it'll take you over to our video. So let's see, tip number 1. So tip number 1, we are going to talk about the commander page. So everyone knows there's the commander view, and you can assign commanders who give you buffs. But what a lot of people don't know is that where gear only applies to primary commanders and not secondary, same with armaments, these buffs apply to both primary and secondary. So I'll give you an example of that. When you go to your march, let's send the march out for reference, just any march, doesn't matter. Let's see, it's Zuge and Joan, and it has a health value of 74. Let's apply the health buff to the second commander, which would be Joan, and it would be troop health. And then we will find Cav, and then Joan, and it was 74 before. And now when we go to send the same march out with the secondary with a buff, it is now 75. So as you can see, if you're doing anything, altar, runes, rallies, even garrisons, you can apply this buff, although small. You would roll armaments for 1% health, so why not take it for free from here? Both troop defense health, you get health here, even gathering speed, right? If you're using your gold pit, you can have your gold pit march, which is actually something I need to change, for both your commanders and the gold pit. So, yep, that's tip number 1. So let's move on to tip number 2. Tip number 2, when you are sending a march to, for example, a rune, let's have a look up here. We're wanting training or something. Let's see. Okay, so it's a training rune marked here. If it's still here, of course it's not because I'm doing a video. That would be too convenient. Over here, maybe. There we go. Got a training rune. So when you are sending a march to a rune, you just would naturally send some kind of cav commander, and you can see it takes 31 minutes and 34 seconds. If I send a tier 4 troop, it takes 29 minutes. If I send that, it takes 28. And we go down to 26. Point I'm trying to show you is the lower the tier of unit, the faster it travels. So if you train yourself before a fight 10, 15 tier 1 horsemen, you can send them as a single troop march far across at march speed 100, opposed to if you were sending tier 5 units, which would be, I'm in the wrong window here, sorry about that, tier 5 troops here, which is a march speed of 80, so you can see they're about 20% faster. And obviously percent boosts are more effective to them, so even faster again. And if they die, they don't cost you very much. So keep that in mind if you're going far for runes or really anything. You can take a faster tier 1 troop. And then also another note, when you get there and you want to get it back faster, hit it off a barb so that it's routed to be sad face, it'll come back even faster. So there's that. Okay, tip 3. Tip number 3 is when you are collecting keys in your alliance. So when you're collecting your gifts, you unlock these alliance chests. Most alliances have the purple chest. It can go up to the legendary chest, and I think there's like a rainbow one at the end. But the point I'm making here for tip number 3 is that all these chests have the same rewards basically on speeds, but as you can see, the lower tier requires less keys. So a green chest on the right here in this picture requires 1 million less keys. So for the same amount of effort, you can open more green chests for more speed than you would for the purple, and the legendary would be more again to open. Point here is when you're in off season, jump into a shell that has a lower gift level and run that gift level up and increase your recovery. It'll help everybody in your kingdom. You'll get more speeds and you'll be more effective in KVK because of it. Okay, tip number 4. Tip number 4 is a simple one. A lot of people know it, but some people still don't. When you come into here and you start unlocking commanders, you can, really, it can get quite hard to find people. How many times you see me in the videos open it up, going to the filters to try and find somebody. What you can do when you hit a commander is you can hit this star at the top right that favorites the commander. It will promote them to the top, and then it will follow whatever you have it filtered at, so it'll be by power. And then when you no longer want to favorite them anymore, you just click off it and it'll delete it from the top. If, for example, I don't want Who, Who's no good to me anymore, see you later Who, and you can filter your commanders so that your most used and preferred commanders are at the top of your page. Okay, and tip number 5. Tip number 5 is when you're fighting, you should always use an expansion. To get an expansion, you can buy them from the VIP store for 2,500 or flat out from the actual store for 5,000. However, when these merchants spawn, you should, two things, right? Double tip. Buy absolutely everything for resources, because although you might not need research speeds, you can trade these in now in multiple events for other speed ups. Okay, you are looking in this row here to look for those army expansions. They can go as low as 1,500 gems, and if you have a Bankrupt the Boutique event, it can go down to 1,000 if you buy the stuff next to it. So if you pre-plan for your fighting and pick these up on the cheap, you can have a healthy supply of army expansions for very cheap for when the fighting comes. None here on this reset. As you can see, I just buy everything for resources and move on. You normally want to see one of these one every 4 or 5 days if you're playing actively and picking up on your merchant. So yeah, guys, that is 5 tips. Thanks for watching. If you have any more tips that you want to share with the community, drop them below and I will work them into the next video. And if you want to see the last 5, to see if there's anything in there that's useful to you, it should be on the end screen at the end of this video. Thanks guys, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you, goodbye, bye.